Hello, world. Ah, I can't tell what emoji that is, Professor Nicteris, but I'm guessing it's detective. In which case, I want to detective right back. Let me see if I can actually do that. I'm just going to copy yours. There we go. Unfortunately, it does not show up because I don't have the right font. Sorry about that. Anyway, I've been working for a long time on a new route for the most ambitious speedrun of Mario Superstar Baseball. All superstars. This is doing every single thing that you can in the game's primary single player mode. There's 204 missions that you've got to do for 32 characters. Some of them you can do on the second highest difficulty, but a few of them can only do on the highest level of difficulty. So for most of the speedrun, you're going to be playing on the highest level difficulty that Mario Superstar Baseball has to offer. And because there are so many missions that you can do, and because of the limitations of the way that single player files work, you have to have an incredibly complex route in order to finish with a good time. A reasonable enough route, and the starting point for this rerouting process that I went through, would be to just do the 6 captains back to back to back to back to back to back. Mario, Peach, DK, Yoshi, Wario, and Bowser. And as long as you finished every one for those 6, including their teammates, you would get it. But we can do better than that. We can get it all done in 4 playthroughs. The world record does it in 5, and that's because the world record missed getting 2 goals in the same final match, and had to do a 5th final match in order to get that last goal. I'll explain how my route addresses that issue in just a sec. Thank you for the bits, Professor Nicteris. Okay, so behold my infographic. I've spent 2 days on this wonderful abomination. This is going to be a little bit indecipherable for people who aren't familiar with the game, but for people who are familiar with the game and have speedrun the Superstar percent categories, this should be pretty intuitive, but I'll just spell it out. Each of the 4 boxes represents a different playthrough of the game that you have to do. One of those playthroughs always has to be done by Peach on special difficulty. One of those always has to be done as Bowser on special difficulty. And those are Actually, I'm going to change this so that I can see cursor, because it'll actually help. Yes. That would be... Oop. Oh, no. Hold on. Oop. Okay. Okay. We gotta... Oh, go back. Okay. Alright, we got the cursor. So, yes, Peach on special difficulty. That's what the crown means. We got Bowser, special difficulty. This is the order, by the way. You do Peach first and Bowser last. So those required playthroughs are taken care of. You also have to do one playthrough as Wario, but it can be on any difficulty. And because of one particular challenge that Mario has, we do Wario on star difficulty. It also makes it easier to do a whole bunch of other stuff, because on star difficulty, the games are shorter and easier by default. So that's good. And then the last playthrough, you wouldn't want to double up on any of the captains. That doesn't help, which means you'd be choosing between Mario, Yoshi, and Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong makes the least sense, and you could justify doing Mario or Yoshi, but basically the way that the routing works is the first thing that you do as Mario would be collecting Yoshi and getting him on your team, whereas if you were Yoshi, the first thing that you would be doing is getting Mario on your team. So it doesn't really matter. But at the point in the run in which I start the 3rd playthrough, Yoshi has more unfinished goals than Mario does, which is why I decided to play as Yoshi. But again, it's very flexible. As long as you commit to getting the other captain, and I do commit to getting the other captain in the 3rd playthrough, that it works out about as well as it can. So, first, let's talk about the top half. The top half is the actual game plan and order of operations for each route. So let's start with Peach. The very first thing that I'm going to be doing as Peach is Daisy as a challenge, hit the bonus barrel in Barrel Batter. That's what the DK barrel represents, the barrel batter minigame. That's to get money. You use the money to get coins for a power bat. You use the power bat in order to make it easier for Toadette to hit the note block, which Bowser Jr. helps you with as an opponent. Everybody who's seen or played Peach Percent understands what resetting like note block looks like. It is the second thing in the run, just as it is for Peach Superstar Percent. Because if you try it for 45 minutes and you still haven't gotten it, you might as well reset the timer, play the minigame one more time, set up the setup again, and then just try again, because it's completely wasted time. So note block second. That's really nice. Peach Wall Ball. Then you do your first game. Oh, Peach Wall Ball gives you the money for the power-up items. First game, you want to Mercy Rule out Donkey Kong. The whole point of the first playthrough is to finish Peach, Daisy, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong. And that's what these bottom four represent, is which people are you finishing in that playthrough. So if everything goes as planned during the first playthrough as Peach, all of Peach's missions, Daisy's missions, Donkey Kong's missions, and Diddy Kong's missions get done. And in order to make that as straightforward as possible, you pick up Donkey Kong first. Doing some Peach and Daisy missions along the way. Peach does her strikeouts and MVP during this game. Oops, excuse me. You do Goomba's Wall Ball because it's convenient. Then you Wario. Wario makes the most sense to grab next because at some point during the run, he has to get 5 RBIs. You really need to do Wario 5 RBIs in this playthrough because your only other opportunity would be in Yoshi's playthrough, and that's an unnecessary cross-recruitment. This route minimizes unnecessary cross-recruitment so that you don't have to Mercy Rule every team, basically. There's 2 required Mercy Rules or cross-recruitments other than the ones that are required for Peach because she has to recruit everyone. Actually, there's 3. 2 of them are for Mario, and 1 of them is for Peach's team, specifically Toad, Toadette, and Toadsworth. We'll get to that. But yeah, you get Wario's so that you can make sure that you can get 5 RBIs, and also because you're going to be doing Waluigi's minigames. They're spread throughout the second half of the Peach playthrough. You do Yoshi. You try and get 5 RBIs. You do Diddy's strikeout challenges in Yoshi. This is why you have to do Donkey Kong before Yoshi. Then after you get Yoshi's team, everybody gangs up on Mario. Everybody that has an anti-Mario or anti-Luigi mission tries to take care of it now, with the babies taking second priority to Wario, Waluigi strikeouts. And then you really, really, really want to try and get the Diddy hit and Donkey Kong run batted in before moving on. So if it takes multiple games against Mario, that's actually not necessarily a bad thing. It lets you be more thorough. Another thing, I made sure to grab Yoshi before playing Mario, not just for Baby Mario and Baby Luigi's anti-Mario and anti-Luigi respectively missions, but also because Mario is the person who you do the booted ball setup for. Baby Mario's accursed booted ball goal. And you do that now, in the first playthrough. More or less as early as you can. You still have to get Donkey Kong first, and the only other thing that you could justify moving would be moving Wario to after Mario, but that doesn't really help you a whole lot. And Mario and Luigi are going to get a whole lot more love and attention in the second and third playthroughs, so it makes sense to do Mario last. A few more minigames, including Luigi's Toy Field. That's what Mini Mario from the Mini Mario games represents, Toy Field. And then you do Bowser. Never seen this game smiling and nodding? Don't worry. But before that, we have to explain parallel universes. There are 4 characters in the game that have a very particular mission. Most valuable player in last game. You can only do the last game once per playthrough because it takes you immediately to the credits afterwards, no matter what happens. And then the only way to get to the last game again is to do an entire other playthrough. 4 most valuable players in last games, 4 playthroughs. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. There's also one more mission that is related to the last game. Peach has to shut out Bowser. So be the pitcher the entire game, allow no runs. You can do that at the same time as an MVP in last game mission. Now, pitching a shutout makes you very likely to be the most valuable player. The internal calculations of the game takes that into consideration and go, wow, that person contributed a lot. They did a really excellent job pitching. But if you're careful and make sure that the pitcher strikes in 0 runs and the player that you want, in this case Luigi, strikes in like 4 or 5, you're probably going to be okay. Or at least that's how it's worked out for me. I've done this before. I've done this on special difficulty. I've done it on star difficulty, but I have gotten the double. And this means you do not have to, as the world record run did, do a 5th playthrough just for Peach Shutout Bowser. So there you go. That's Peach first playthrough, Peach Special. Wario is on star difficulty, which is enough for King Boo to get his MVP in last game. Mario first. You try and do the PD Shutout. Mini games. There's some mini games. Yoshi. This is where Mario does perfect game. Perfect game is on like a technical level the most difficult challenge in the game. So doing a maximum of 3 innings game rather than a maximum of 5 inning games makes a lot of difference, and also the AI is slightly worse. So you really want to do perfect game on star difficulty as you can. That's why the first thing that Wario does is recruit Mario so he can do perfect game against someone. I picked Yoshi. And I think Yoshi makes sense to do first. I think Yoshi is the easiest computer to play against. And it doesn't matter as much which of these 3 computers, Yoshi, Peach, and Donkey Kong, you do first. Although if you happen to miss a couple of goals for Peach, Daisy, Donkey Kong, or Diddy Kong, you could rectify that by moving them forward and recruiting them in conjunction with the perfect game or not. Some shutouts. You do Bowser, you get King Boo MVP in last game. This is a bread and butter second playthrough as Wario. The world record run does the Wario playthrough first, which is not optimal, and I explained that in a different video. Yoshi run is very simple. You beat Bowser Jr. with Baby Mario on your team if you haven't already. Minigames. You clean up this anti-Mario stuff. Do the rest of the captains. This is basically just a Yoshi run. You're only worried about Yoshi and Birdo as long as everything's gone correct. And Mario Grand Slam, which is why you get Mario first. That's it. It's just Yoshi plus Mario Grand Slam minus whatever Yoshi and Birdo missions you were able to knock out in the first playthrough. Plus, if you really need to, you can leave Baby Luigi, Baby Mario, and Shy Guy missions until Bowser. You probably would be able to finish all of those, especially if you have Booted Ball out of the way, but you have that option, because that's what Bowser specializes in. Birdo, MVP in last game, obviously. And then there's one more subtlety, right, which is if you miss the Peach Shutout MVP combination, like if you only get the MVP, but you do allow runs as Peach, you can try it again in the second and third playthroughs, so that you really don't have to do the 5th. It means you have to recruit Peach, which might cost you some time, or it might not cost you some time. But you would have to do it that way. Still, though, like, that's better than doing a 5th playthrough. A 5th playthrough is going to be at least 45 minutes. On star difficulty, at least. For me, it would take at least 45 minutes. Then there's Bowser, the cleanup crew. He can, unlike everybody else, he can do infinite games against the other captains. His restriction is that he can't recruit any other captains. It's just Bowser and Bowser Jr. So you get Peach's team, who you put away the instant that you had Donkey Kong's team to prioritize getting them first. Then you do Toadsworth's minigames. You do the shutout for Toadette. Get Toad MVP. These are all some MVPs here. You got some good MVPs. You do some other missions. Something looks wrong here. Something looks wrong here. Okay, I have to fix something here. That's not correct. You may not stay the whole run. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Chill as long as you'd like. Yeah, if anybody who's familiar with the game can see the paradox here. Uh, Doing the pitch hole game and win for Paratroopa before you even have him. So I have to fix that, but it's actually very easy to do that because you can just do Dry Bones MVP in Donkey Kong and then do the Toadsworth MVP Paratroopa pitch hole game and win against Wario. So it's not a problem. I just goofed a little bit. I didn't notice that. My bad. But I did notice it now, so I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Don't worry. And then you do the All-Star game, and hopefully the only thing that you have to do is get Bowser Jr. MVP in last game. It's very nice to walk into that last game with 203 out of 204 challenges done. And this route will do that. So, final score here at the bottom. By Peach, you want to have these 4 done so that you never have to recruit them again. This is quite possible. In the case of Diddy's Clamber mission, it might not be probable. And if you don't get it in this playthrough, you have to commit to getting Diddy and Yoshi. It sucks, but that's the way it is. In Wario's playthrough, you finish up Wario, Waluigi, and Luigi. This is assuming that you got Wario 5 RBIs and Peach as planned. Mario you can't finish just yet because you still need his Grand Slam. But then in Yoshi you get Mario and do his Grand Slam. You finish up Yoshi and Birdo. And then any other captains that have any other missions, Yoshi is the designated cleanup person for those. But you have to have all of the hero captains done. And then Bowser does his team, and everybody else, every non-captain, can be finished in Bowser, as long as you did Baby Mario's Defeat Bowser Jr. mission earlier on in the run, which I do right here. Right here. Make sure that that's the first thing that I do in the Yoshi playthrough so that I can't forget. Really do not want to go into the Bowser playthrough forgetting that. Here's a more detailed version that shows the MVP and pitching requirements in more detail. I don't want to go into this, but it's just a little bit of a more thorough explanation. Something that's important is whether or not you can switch pitchers during the game, because some characters have, like, strike someone out once, and you need to be sure that you can do that in a game. Meaning there's not someone else on the team who has a pitch the whole game mission who you'd be interfering with by doing that, because if you throw one pitch as anybody else, the shutout mission, the pitch whole game and win mission, the perfect game mission goes away. You can't complete it that game, or that match. So, I marked those with a green dot, the ones that it's safe to switch around pitchers, so you can do those as much as you like. And that's about it. I just have to swap this Toadette and Paratroopa twosome with the Dry Bones, and then the route will be done. So hopefully that clarified things. If it didn't clarify things, don't worry about it, because I'm going to do this run, and hopefully I will get a time that is under 13 hours.